Welcome, Don't Unfriend Me viewers. Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. Got some Rumble in there. And now Spreely, who just came on. Welcome. If you want to check Spreely, that would help me out there, Leroy.
I am on it. Looking now, Bubba.
Folks, we are going to be back on the outside of 3 minutes. We got some news for you. Not great news, but some news nonetheless. Personal stuff. We'll talk about it. And we'll see you back here in just a flash.
Channel 1 is just showing their generic screen.
Yeah, hold on. It's on.
There we go.
Yep, just popped up. Do me a favor, y'all. If you have not liked, please like it. It gets the word out, gets people in the house.
In the house?
Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as the DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot the page. Hold on.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy.
See? We're back.
I see.
No, bad, Matt.
Bad.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Bad Matt.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy.
Maybe good Matt. Let's see. Good Matt.
What is going on, folks?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Leroy, good to have you. The women are not in the house tonight. They are indisposed. Olivia is working, and Amy is, I don't know what the hell Amy's. Oh, she's working too. She's got
Yeah. I was gonna
stuff
say.
to do. The men, we're off. I mean, it's about time the women got to work and did something. So
It's about time they pull their fair share, right?
that's right. That's right. Pay your fair share, pull your fair share.
Fair share.
So we were talking before we came on the show. Lee was like, man, how's your day? And I'm like, well, my day sucks. So as most of you know, you can see now more than ever, as my face is getting old, you can see a giant divot that goes straight down here. And when I trace it with my finger, you can really see it. And it's a scar. And you can see when I do that. Everyone see that? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no jawbone here. This is all gone. It's been deteriorated and completely just pulverized, because that's where a rifle butt came up and hit me in the face as I collapsed and buckled both knees and broke my hips and my ankles, and shoulder sockets popped out of place, broke my sinus canal, my jawbone, my orbital bone, my nose, and just had to have a ton of reconstructive surgery and just get fixed. And then my back was the big one. Well, when that rifle butt came up and I hit the ground, it took out my teeth, and it literally just shattered like chiclets, my 8 teeth, 4 here and 4 below. And of course it didn't knock them out completely, because I have bad teeth, and I've always had bad teeth. My father had false teeth at the age of 19. I can show you some pictures. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. I look like a meth head. I mean, no, it's just horrible. Every single tooth in my head. I've had like 12 root canals. I've had 7 or 8 teeth pulled. And they don't look bad. They're just horrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, they came in and they put crowns on my teeth. But when I went overseas and I came home, I had a chit to have all my dental work as part of my disability. 90% disability rating was to have, $30,000, $40,000 worth of dental surgery done. And I didn't have a base within 3.5 hours of me. And I didn't have a car, so I couldn't get to the VA to have it done. And they wanted me to come in like 46 different visits, and just do one tooth at a time. And that's just the VA. And so you just can't do it. So I let it lapse. And, I put about $30,000 in my teeth since the military, because the VA won't pay for it. So anyway, I was eating a Chipotle burrito last night, and all my back teeth, I don't have any more. Like I just barely have enough teeth to chew. Right. So I was chewing, and my back teeth don't hit because it's all misaligned, because I have deterioration of my jawline and everything else. So they would have to do Invisalign and all this other crap and get orthodontic, like put a wire thing around me so it could move my jaw. I'm just no way. I'm just not going to do it. So I'm too old. I'm 50 years old. I mean, I can handle this for another 35 years or so, and then I'll be dead. But I was chewing on a burrito, and my 2 bottom teeth hit my top of my teeth, my front teeth, because that's just the way they are now. And like my molars don't touch. I don't have any molars. I have incisor molars. That's all I've got left. And anyway, so, and when I did that, the cosmetics of these 2 teeth just split in half from the gum line to the middle of the tooth. Just chunk of frickin' cavity just came out. And the whole thing just exploded. And it revealed that all the construction that they did to do reconstructive surgery all failed. And what we found is that behind there, it washed out no cavities, because they're all root canals. So
right.
They washed out all, and now there's not enough bone and teeth left to do the reconstructive surgery. So the faces look amazing. Like front, they look beautiful, like perfect teeth, but it's the backs. And so I went in there, and my bridge fell out too, because these are all fake right here. These are all fake. Like my entire top row of teeth are fake. There's just not a real tooth in my head. And the bottom row, except for the 4, are all fake. And so I went to the dentist and I said, just give me the news. Cause I just went to go have them. And I said, will you just fill in that? Because you're hearing me whistle, right? And my, I'm, going. So she's like, the hygienist is like, you have great gums. And she's like, and your teeth are amazing. You have rock hard teeth in some spots and brittle in the other. She's like, hon, we're not going to be able to save these front 5 teeth. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought maybe my back teeth, but my front, what are you talking about? They look great. And she's like, let me show you a picture. So they did a 3D scan. I look at it and it's just a fucking a mess. So she's like, let me get back to you on Wednesday. And I'm like, you're a dentist. You're from Iran, right? And she's like, yeah. And I said, so you're shit hot. For you to leave the United States, leave Iran, and to become a dentist, you've got to be like probably top 2% in the world or in the United States. And she goes, probably. And I said, okay, great. So why is it going to take you to Wednesday? And she goes, because I don't know what to do. Because there's not enough tooth left to put a crown. And if I put a crown, it's just going to snap off because there's not enough bone and tooth. Once we take these down to nubs, there's not enough left for that crown to hold on to. So the only thing I could do is one of 2 things. I could put the crowns on and it's probably going to last you 5 years. And I'll give you 5 brand new teeth and it'll last you 5 years. And then you're going to have to save up and you're going to have to do an implant. And that's going to be $3,500 to $5,000 a tooth. So that's 35, 40 grand right there. Right. And then crowns are going to be $1,000 a piece. So that's going to be 5 grand.
Yeah.
Or she's like, I'll take out those 5 and I'll put in a denture. And I'm like, if you put in a denture, I only got 1 tooth left. And you're going to have to make that my anchor. The problem is that's where my bridge is on. So you're going to have to get rid of my bridge. You're going to have to give me a fucking half plate on all my teeth. You're going to have to give me basically a partial denture from tooth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then moving to the right, 2 more teeth over there. So you're going to have to give me almost a full plate. And at that point, you might as well give me a full plate because right here is another freaking bridge, which is just a titanium metal of 3 teeth. So the moment you go over here, you might as well just give me a full upper. Rip out all those teeth and give me a full upper denture, and then I'm done. I mean, why don't we just do that? You're talking about ripping out 5 teeth. Who cares at this? Who fucking cares? I'm already missing. You can see there's not a tooth here. Just gone because that one just died the other day. This one's about to fail, the root canal, so they're gonna have to yank that. I don't just rip out all the fucking teeth on the top. Take them all out, give me a full denture, and I'll call it good. And I'm like, how much is that? She's like $20,000.
So I had something not dissimilar to, and I'm not making compare and contrast, right? Fortunately, when it happened to me, I was on orders. I was driving to work, and basically, this tooth here, I was chewing gum literally on the way to work. And the crown came off, and it was an older crown that apparently had been leaking for some time, and I didn't know it. So because I was on orders, I was able to leverage, the base facilities. So I went in and still had the crown, handed it to them, and they're like, well, good news, bad news. And it's not dissimilar from yours, Matt. It was one of these cases where they were like, we can't do anything with this. There's not enough of the original tooth, right? And I was like, well, what would you do? If this was your mouth, what would you do? And the dentist told me straight up, she's like, I'd get an implant. I'm like, can you guys do that? And they're like, yes, we can. And so I was able, thank God.
Dude, it's like $9,000 for something.
He told me it was $4,000 for 1 tooth.
Yeah, and it's like between 3,500 and 5,000. But because I'm doing a full, it comes down to this. I'm just going to go to her. I'm going to say, rip out every fucking tooth in the top except my 4 anchors. Keep 2 of these as anchors and give me a full, and then it'll snap onto those 2 teeth, and then I can't lose those teeth. Whatever it takes, those teeth I must save. I must brush those. That's what my dad had 8 teeth in his head. He had 2 full dentures his whole life. And honestly, at this point, I just need to embrace it. They can put me under pull them all out. I'll go off the show for a week until the swelling goes down. Then I'll get a partial fake plate. Or I'll just do the show without it.
I'll claim you as a dependent, Matt. That way you can come to the base.
It's such bull, dude. The VA, the military's
really
fucked me up, and the reason why is it's my years of service, but because I was 90 points disabled, and I went back, I gave up my rating, and the guys look at me and say, "Why are you giving up your rating?" And I said, "Because I can walk. I'm not 90% disabled. I can work. I've taken care of it. I've healed my body," and he's like, "But that's your money." And I said, "No. It's for the veterans who are actually disabled. I'm not disabled." Probably the dumbest thing I did. I was younger and I thought it was a smart thing to do. And so I tried to reopen it. Once my back happened, they didn't pay a penny for my back. So I just think that I'm just going to have to do a plate. You know?
I'm sorry, man.
No, you know what? Because that's not bad, right? They fit you for your palate. It's a top plate. Yeah, the feeling's a little off. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And I'll just
and here's the thing. To your point, the healing time from all of that. Not just the expense. I can't even do those damn surgeries. They went to give me this one and I almost went into like cardiac arrest because they had my mouth open for so long and in such a way that I ended up like it blocked my airway. I feel really bad because that is just shitty news. I get it. There's not a lot anybody can do about it.
It's tight when you're you're trying to make something work. You're at an age of 50. You're trying to create a show and it's going well, and then something like this happens, and this is probably going to be the coup de grace, right? This is just going to say, got to go bite the bullet and pull away from the show quite a bit and just focus on a job at this point, because it's too much. It's just adding up. And you just gotta say, yeah, this is the hard part. Unless you're funded, you can't do these things. So it's a matter of, it's frustration, dude. It's frustration because this is stupid. And I wish, but if I lose these teeth, I'm not going to be very well, I might be able to talk. I won't be able to do my show. I certainly won't be able to do VOs and voiceovers and such. Nobody's going to want to listen to a gabby tooth guy. So, I think I've got 4 teeth that I can save, where I can do the snap on, because that's what my dad had. He had the snap on. He had 4 teeth, and I've got 4 teeth I can save, not barely. Like I'm gonna have to get. I should have 4 teeth I can save. So I'm just going to talk to her and ask her and just pull them all. Just get fucking rid of them. I'm done with these teeth. I want white, beautiful teeth again, and I'm sick of this. I'm just tired of it. JD Stillwell has a question before we get on to it. He says, Q, Matt, did you ever do Suboxone strips or pills to help with the withdrawal from the killers? I've heard the story, but just curious because it can cause tooth decay. I didn't touch Suboxone. And the reason I didn't touch, first of all, my tooth decay has been since I have 6 years. I got my first root canal at 7. 7.
Jesus.
Dennis said, I've been doing this for fucking 40 years and I've never seen anyone under the age of 12 or 13 get a root canal. So I had 3 root canals by the time I was 19. And then once I went in the military, they either ripped it or did a root canal. And the problem is with my teeth, when you look at them on x-ray, most roots go down straight. Mine, they do pigtails at the bottom.
Curly? Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen that.
You can't file down and get to the root canal. So all my root canals are failing. I just want to tell her, just rip them all out. Let me go into surgery. I'll go off the show for 2 weeks. I'll teach you how to do it. Teach Liv how to do it. You guys do the show. You guys, whatever. I'm sure we can I'll have Dom stream to my shows or something. We'll figure it out. And then I'll just heal. And then, after 2 weeks or so, the swelling will go down. I'll be able to put it in my plate. But, it just sucks, man. It just absolutely sucks.
I'll help you out if I can. I'll absolutely.
I know.
Sign me up.
We'll find plenty. We've got, dude, I'll have the host from Spreely come on, or I'll just take 2 weeks off and we'll have to suck it up and deal with it. But anyway, so needless to say, this isn't a pity story. I'm not trying to, get all your pity. I'm just saying it's tough right now. And it sucks. And that's just the way it is. But no, I took no Suboxone coming off the hydrocodone and oxy. I literally stepped down. So I was doing 12 pills a day of hydro, and then I was doing 4 slow release, I think 300 milligrams of oxy, which is just I should be dead.
A lot.
Yeah, I should be dead. Dude, I was taking probably close to 600 milligrams of oxy and hydro a day. So I should be dead. And that's the Heath Ledger cocktail. And there were times I woke up and I threw up in my mouth. I mean, it was that bad. Luckily, I'm a side sleeper and a stomach sleeper, but I should have asphyxiated plenty of times. But no, go ahead.
When I was dealing with shingles, they had me on 10 milligrams a day. So by comparison, so that's 10 milligrams. That's like 5 in the morning, 5 at night, right before bed kind of deal. So when I hear how much again? 600
milligrams a day. And most people take like 10s and 20s max. Like most people start off with 2.5s of something like Vicodin or Percocet. And then you go up into Narco and Lortab, and then you start going into the heavy, the hydros. So you got to understand, not only was I taking the stuff that was 100 times stronger than Vicodin, I'm taking 600 milligrams of it. But that's the thing about opioids. It's all static and it's linear progression. And once you take one, you never get the same result unless you up the prescription. But then once you up the prescription, your body grows resistance to it. So at that point, they were gonna have to start giving me legalized heroin, and that's what OxyContin is legalized heroin. But they were going to start giving me Demerol and stuff like that, morphine, and I just, here's what I did. I was at 12, so I went down to 11, and I made myself uncomfortable for like 2 or 3 days, and knew I was going to be uncomfortable for a month, and then I went down to 10, waited 2 or 3 days, then down to 9, 8, and then when I got down to 1, you'll be amazed, dude. You take that 1. And you can't do it because by the time you hit 5 o'clock, you're dead. So you got to cut it in fourths, and you got to take 1 at 8, 1 at 12, 1 at 4, and 1 at 8, and then sleep and hopefully pass out. And at that point, I had to jump. And it's hilarious because that little tiny amount of oxy or hydrocodone won't put you into withdrawal. You'll be uncomfortable. Really? You'll be sweating. You'll be uncomfortable. You'll be sweating. You'll just be like, ugh. But you're not in the full withdrawal until you jump. And when you jump, about 24 hours, your whole fucking world ends. And when I say I'm listen, people have said to me, would you rather go through a full opioid withdrawal or eat a bullet? And I will tell you with no equivocation, I would eat a bullet. I'll never do it again. I won't even take Advil anymore. There is no way, because if I take one, I'll be right back on it, and I just stay away from that shit. I've been almost clean for, I think, almost 9 years now.
Yeah.
But it was the worst withdrawal I've ever been through. Leroy, it was excruciating. I can't even tell you. Like 2 years of withdrawal, because you'll have 3 months will go by, and then all of a sudden, boom, you'll start sweating and you're shitting and you're throwing up and you're like, I got the flu. It's not, it's your body going through that withdrawal. And it's insane, dude. That stuff, anybody who's on it, you got to get off of it. That stuff is killing you. It's just absolutely killing you, and you don't even know.
Hey, real quick, Carrie Rivas, I'm going to mispronounce this last name. I'm sorry, Carrie. Carrie Rivas Spurks. Says, question, Leroy Sparks, did you get the shingles vax before you came down with it? I did not. I got shingles, actually. It was stress induced. I went into, I've talked about this on the show before. Matt and I share a lot of similarities in terms of our childhoods and our pasts and things of that nature, not only in the military, but certainly amongst our parents as well. My dad was horribly abusive. And I mean the type of abuse that would land somebody in prison for a very long time these days. And I was traumatized by it, straight up. And he passed away. And this was while I was on orders. I found out about it, and I got a call from my aunt who said, "Hey, come and get whatever you want out of the house. If there's any paperwork, any documentation, any souvenirs, childhood souvenirs, that kind of thing." And the moment I walked in, the smell of the house hit me, and it was so bad that I got shingles the next day, and it was all just trauma induced. So I don't know that I'm necessarily. I've never had stress like that ever before. So I have gotten the vax since then, and I'm supposed to go back at some point. Yeah, but I did not get the vax prior to getting shingles. So,
and I don't do my anxiety that way. I do it through panic attacks, and I haven't had a panic attack for 4 years, 5 years. But oh man, I swear I was having a heart attack the first time I did it, and I called the EMTs. It was hilarious. A couple of the EMT guys were on the teams, and they had seen my tattoos. And the guy's like, "You on the teams?" Like, no, not at all. He's like, he's looking at my arms, like what gives, bro? And I said, I worked NSWAG, and he's like, "Oh fuck, okay." I was like, I almost didn't want to save your life for a second. I'm like, "It's okay, buddy, I'm all right." And he's like, "You're not having a heart attack, bro. You're having a fucking anxiety attack." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Did you just go through life-changing event, lose weight, taking medicine?" I'm like, "All the above." And he's like, "What happened?" And I turned around and showed him my back, and he's like, "Oh fuck, dude." Because I've got 3 scars that are, I've got a 18-inch scar, I've got a 6-inch scar, and then I got a lateral 4-inch scar going across my
I wouldn't
my
do it.
waist.
They wanted to give me that surgery, and I wasn't going to. There was no.
You were smart.
Way of
you were smart. Just, dude, yeah. You. But
and I
he's
deal
like,
with the pain every day. I deal with it. There's a lot of times where people tell me, "Oh, you can go get a radio frequency ablation. You can get your shit fused together." They wanted to inject bone cement into the vertebrae that are now deformed. I was like, "You're not touching me with that shit."
Yeah, they did. They did 16 injections, a discectomy. They removed the spinal column and shaved it down, and then cut around the bone, which is dangerous as fuck, and then shaved it and then put it in. They put a composite in there that didn't work, and then finally they put 3-level fusion titanium rods, and then the residual pain I had from that, they put a pacemaker. So they put 2 wired leads. They cut a pacemaker into my ass, my buttocks, like this big. And then 2 metal leads that they shoved up my spine that went up 18 inches. And it's a passive battery that does passive charging. So I wrap a belt around me. Used to when I had back pain. I've cured it. But it would recharge the battery. And then I would have diodes that I could turn up and have electric stimula going through my back all day, sending and numbing the area so I wouldn't feel pain. Dude, I can't even begin to tell you. And so when I go into the dentist, she's like, it was hilarious. I sat in the dentist chair today, and she's like, "I'm going to take your blood pressure again." I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "Something's wrong. I've taken it 3 times." I'm like, "It's 118 over 72, right?" And she goes, "How did you know that?" She's like, "Are you screwing with me?" She's like, "I've taken blood. There's no reason for your blood pressure to be the same 3 times. And I said, "My blood pressure is always 118 over 72. And I'm like, "What's my resting heart rate? 67. And she's like, "Okay, this is getting weird." And I said, it hasn't changed in 8 years since I've worked out. I know my blood pressure. She's like, "Aren't you, but didn't you say you were nervous?" And I said, "Like a whore in church right now, because dentist office are pain for me and my body and mind know it." And she goes, "But how are you in a state of calm?" And I said, "Once you get mind over matter, once you learn how to, calm yourself. If I don't, my pulse ox is going to be down to 92. I'm going to fucking hit the deck, but you can teach yourself." And so I'm like, once I went through my back stuff.
Is it your breathing techniques by chance?
No, it's just, I went through it with my back, and nothing compares to that back pain. So I don't fear pain anymore. And honestly, they can't get me numb at the dentist anyway, which is a real crazy ass thing. Is that I metabolize the Novocaine in about 30 minutes, and then they can only give me so much, otherwise it'll stop my heart. So half the time they're in my mouth, with an exposed cavity or doing a root canal, and I can feel it. And those doctors, I mean, dude, I swear to God, the last one I had, and then we can start talking. Last one I had 3 nurses holding my hands, and just one of them was praying while the dentist was working. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. I know that you can feel this. I was like, I can't give you any more medicine. Let me put you to sleep. And I'm like, just fucking do it. Just get it done. And dude, I'm telling you, it's just pain. I don't understand how women do it, but I understand a little bit that once you go through it so many times, you can just kind of ignore it until it's really bad. But yeah, it sucks. Anyway. Good talk. Not that this had anything to do with that, because we always start the show this way. linktapgo.com/thedumshow. We are fully funded by the listeners. You guys are amazing. We've hit our May goal. We're a little bit behind from where we usually are. Usually we do like about $100 a show, but we've had the weekend. If you guys can help out, once again, once you've paid your bills, you take care of your family, you take care of your loved ones, you've donated to a local charity, and you're sitting around going, hey, you know what? We've got a little bit extra. We would love it and appreciate it if you could help out us, because every bit helps. We thank you. That story was not for that. I know some people who've never been on the show will think that, but that's not what it was about. It was just what happened with our days. We always share this. No. Leroy and I don't get together enough so we can do that. We don't.
And normally we jump right into some level of politics. We normally have some level of interchange between, Amy, myself, and Matt, and we talk about our days for just a few minutes. But rarely do we ever get to talk on this level. And a lot of that is when you have 3 and 4 people on the show. Matt and I, if we talked 50-50, all right, now do the math. You got 4 people. That means everyone's getting just a few minutes to talk, which is really not a lot to share about, when you want to share the intricacies of your day, when you want to talk about, family life and, hey, my, wife ran into the garage today, or, somebody shaved the dog's ass. When you want to talk about those kinds of things, then you're kind of, if you don't have the time, nobody knows. So
how's the penile reduction surgery going? Have they just, okay. We'll just do that another time.
They didn't, he said they can only take off like 6 inches.
Yeah. Well, what's that going to do for you? I mean, and then you're what?
You're still walk with a limp.
You're square with 3 yards. I mean, so you're an odd number. Who cares? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, unless they can really get into that 12 to 13 foot mark, you're just wasting effort.
You're trying to get me down to an Adrius Elba size, but
yeah, that would be nice. By the way, it's Spricks, not Sparks. Spricks, like she said, sticks. I thought something else, but I kept it PG-13. Listen, anybody at any time, if you also may not know this, we have the dumclub.com. We had a great group chat. This is the type of stuff we talk about. If you like those, we have those once a month, and we all kind of talk about a little bit of everything and get a little more personal. Those are fantastic. Go to the dumclub.com. Let's go. Religion. Listen, I've been, for the last about year and a half, I've been fairly a pretty strong proponent for religion. And, I think religion itself, that is what I have the problem with. It's not spirituality. And it's hard for me to fully embrace, because I still see these people doing these archaic charlatan practices, these snake oil salesmen. And this frustrates me. I can't stand it. Here's what I'm talking about. Give this a watch. And like, if I was in the audience, I'd be like the great Gambini from, My Cousin Vinny. Oh, he's palming it, or it's up his sleeve, or he has a rabbit, outing people. This is what I would do. By the way, your light's not on. Your front light, whatever light you usually have.
One of them that's out.
Okay, just thought I'd tell you. I notice these things, by the way.
That's very good, because you're spot on. One of them is out.
Yeah, no, that's why I focus on these things. All right, this is the video. And
looked like he was about to ask that guy to pull his finger.
Yeah. First of all, take a look at the event area.
Yeah.
Those lights are not cheap.
No, the uplighting, those are expensive to set up.
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable. And here's the video, okay? This just pisses me off. Just watch.
The hell was that? Hey, Dad. $50 a piece.
I want you to watch this guy. He drops before he touches him.
And the Oscar goes to
Give me a fucking break. Like, go ahead.
Charlatan.
I don't know what to say. It's like, this is why religion's so hard for me. Why do we need all the theatrics?
You don't.
There's
There's no place in the Bible that says that you have to go to a building with nice, pretty uplighting in order to have a relationship with God. It's not listed in there.
So why do it? And how do you get people to actually believe that a man, because I guess what he's saying is that he has the spirit of God in him and he's channeling God. I mean, it sounds like witchcraft to me. Is channeling the spirit of Christ. And what is the, can't you get a clicker? I mean, what is, I don't understand, dude.
Too many dogs were sitting.
He's making it bad for people who actually are trying to bring the word of God to people. And this isn't religion. No, scratch that. This isn't God. This is just theatrics, and this is theology on Hollywood ice skates. It's not real. There's no practical purpose to anything he's doing. And honestly, it seems to me like you're practicing a seance or some sort of witchcraft. And I'm sorry, but how can anyone who reads the Bible and believes in God believes that this is okay, that this is real? I just don't understand it. Maybe someone can explain it to me.
I don't know that there's a proper explanation for something like that.
All right, well, screw him.
Yeah.
Screw him then. I mean, that's it. We just don't go any further. Folks, if you know and go to a church like this where, yes, and I heal you, you need to leave. And I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Those people are taking advantage of y'all like I can't even believe. Now, somebody like, well, you take donations. Yeah, but I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm going to heal you or I'm going to make your fallopian tubes all of a sudden function or I'm going to cure your cancer. What I'm going to tell you is I'm going to take your money and I'm going to spend it on my family, and thanks for helping me out. And I hope I give you a service that you find redeemable. If not, just watch and hit the like button. That's all I ask. Very big difference than, let me go ahead and touch you with my magical healing energy. Now sign over your next paycheck to me. Completely different.
And they always do it with the stipulation that if you give said amount, if you give frequently, with a blank check, then somehow or another that buys your way into heaven. That if you don't do this in some way, that God is going to look at you and say, yeah, you're not worthy, And a lot of times that's how they sell it. A lot of times, when they pass the basket around, right? That's what they're telling you, is that you have to do this as a way to, penance to get past the pearly gates. I don't know.
Folks, the more you give to the Don't Unfriend Me show, the more I will heal your... No, it's not true. We're all thinking about giving... We are thinking that if you give, I think, $75, you get a free shirt. Or something like that. And our shirts aren't shit. I mean, that's actually a decent little kickback. But anyway, let's move on. Here's Donald Trump had something to say outside of the courthouse. The judge has pretty much said, you've now broken my order 11 times. The next time is jail.
I think it was a $9,000 fine each time, right?
$1,000. Yeah, he's had to pay like $11,000 or some shit. But either way, I got a take on that. I want you to listen to his comment, and then we can talk about what that would do to his campaign if he goes to prison. Oh shit. Take a
guy.
listen.
At the time, we got out early today because they didn't have another week. Just said that they want 2 to 3 more weeks. That means they want to keep me off the trail for 2 to 3 more weeks. Now, anybody in there would realize there's no case. They don't have a case. Every legal scholar says they don't have a case. This is just a political witch hunt. It's election interfering. And this is really, truly election interference, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And in every poll, I'm leading by a lot. And they figure maybe they can do something here. Maybe they can do. This case should be over. This case should have never been brought. By the way, Alvin Bragg didn't want to bring the case. Your previous DA didn't bring the case. The FEC said they threw it away. They said, you got to be kidding. Southern District didn't bring the case. Nobody brought the case. And then Alvin Bragg brought the case as soon as, when I'm running and leading, that's when they decided, let's go bring a case. So it's a disgrace. But we just heard 2 to 3 more weeks. I thought they were finished today. And they are finished today if you look at what's happening. I thought they were going to be finished today, and they want 2 to 3 more weeks. The judge asked them, and playing right into the judge's hands. The judge is so happy about 2 to 3 more weeks because they all want to keep me off the campaign trail. That's all this is about. This is about election interference. How do we stop it?
He's going to jail. And honestly, I think Donald Trump wants to go to jail. And honestly, I want him to go to jail. I want them to put him in prison.
I don't know that I want him to go to prison.
I do. Why not an overnight? Why not an overnight? Why not have him go, you know what? You're going to prison for 24 hours. First of all, he'll be out in a New York flash.
Right.
But why not? Does that not seal? We know what he's going to say. Does that not, tell me what you're thinking. And then the question I have for you is, does that not seal the election for him? Because, dude, you put him in prison for speaking his mind. Go ahead.
But it's not dissimilar from what the left does, right? When they say, I wanted Donald Trump's presidency, I wanted the economy to tank under Donald Trump. I wanted something bad to happen during Donald Trump's presidency to show how bad he was. That's the same kind of thing. That's like saying we want him to go to jail so that the world can see how bad the Democrats are. So
that's
that
not
the
what
world
I said.
Can see, no. But there is a level of you can draw those dots. They're not that far apart, right?
Yeah, they are. So, hold on a second. Let me ask that question because when we do that, my point is that's the freedom of speech gig. It's like, what's the alternative? He can't talk.
Right.
So my point is that's a moot one. Because it's not like I want the economy to fail, because what's the option? Well, the economy was successful under Trump. Shouldn't we want it to be successful under Biden? And in this case, before we even get to the jail thing, shouldn't we say freedom of speech? Shouldn't everybody have freedom of speech? And the moment you take it away, well, then what's the alternative but send him to prison so you can expose how absolutely fraudulent and bullshit this is? Because that's what I'm saying. It's not because I want Donald Trump to go to prison, jail.
I know what you mean.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing, guys. Semantics. Yeah. It's so... Who cares? He's under lock and key, okay? The point is, isn't it going to rattle some people's cages to say they just locked up a former president for, listen, he can be guilty of all that other crap, but he just spoke his mind. He defended himself. Go ahead, Leroy. I didn't mean to interrupt, but want to chime in.
Oh, no, you're fine. But because to your point, I completely agree with that, the other half of that assessment, which is that CNN, Fox, the lawyers, the media in the room, everyone has been able to address major media outlet with an opinion on Donald Trump and his case, except for Donald Trump, right? And it's all because this lawyer, the judge is basically saying, no, you have a gag order. We do not want you talking about it. And if you listen to what he said just there, I'm not sure that's related to the case at all. All he's basically saying is, hey, look, guys, while I'm dealing with this court stuff, I am not allowed to go move forward with my campaign because I'm being tied up in legal handcuffs here. That's basically what he's saying. And so I think that that's perfectly reasonable to basically be able to say that to the media. But that's not how it'll play out in the courtroom. In the courtroom, they're going to say, "We told you not to say anything. Here's another fine." And in the meantime, while all of that is going on, his point about the polls is spot on. 2 days ago, I put this up on the DUM Show, the Facebook
The Dumb Nation
DUM site,
group.
right? Yeah, that talked about the polls. He is up by 4 points in Arizona, all swing states. He's up by 4 points in Arizona. He's up by 6 points in Georgia. He's up by 1 point in Michigan, 4 points in Nevada, closer to 8 points in North Carolina. He's up in Pennsylvania by 4 points and Wisconsin by 5 points. So there's quite a bit
I don't trust any of those.
No, and I'm not saying that I would take these as ironclad, but it is odd that in every single swing state there does seem to be, all right, he's competitive at least. And to some degree, the Democrats have got to be all puckered up about that, which is why he's in why he's there in court.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's going to tighten by the time they get to the general. That's just the way this is. This is primary season. And it'll get within 1 to 2 points, and all of this will be a reality. And, it is what it is. The interesting thing besides that, and listen, I'm not saying that it's not a good thing that he's up in these polls. My point is that once this gets to a little bit closer to the general, it will narrow. They can't stop the truth that the American people already knows. Well, that's not true. They have. And I don't understand how anyone can say that.
Seen 1984?
Yeah, because if you think that the truth is coming out about Trump for half the population, it's not. And I don't care about that half, because that half's never going to vote for Trump anyway. I want the 7%. I want the overall 4.5% of the independent voters who are considered Republicans, who are never Trumpers. Those people can be shifted. The moment they see him arrested, they'll get off the never Trump schneid and they'll vote for him. I believe that with everything in my soul, because they're libertarians and they don't believe a president should be jailed. A former president should be jailed for something like this. They are freedom of speech, libertarian, constitutionalists. You put him in prison and you're going to garner most of those never Trumpers back in the right column. That's what I want to see. You're never going to get the truth out to Democrats. You never will. You're just not going to you're not going to break through them, because they only watch CNN.
Agreed.
They only watch MSNBC.
This election, like all others, will be decided by the independent vote and by the swing states. And what Matt is saying is spot fucking on. The people that are firmly in Trump's camp will not move. The people that are firmly anti-Trump will probably not move. But it is interesting. The more and more people that were never Trumpers, like actor Michael Rappaport, he's coming around, man. This guy is Jewish American, and everything that was happening between West Bank, Gaza Strip, and Israel really set him off. And the moment the thing with the anti-Semitic protests that started sparking off here in the United States, I think that really pushed him in a different way. He was already kind of on the bubble because of the economy. And then when the protests lit off, he was like, I cannot vote for Joe Biden. And, and if it comes down to two parties, that kind of narrows it down.
They're starting to realize that when somebody tells you not to do something, there's a natural curiosity for people to go ahead and explore why. And I think they have not with Trump. And some people are probably like, you know what? We saw him as president for 4 years. We saw what he did. And he didn't do any of the shit that you said he's going to do. You know what I mean? He didn't. Well, J6. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. I understand.
Amy Stancombe has a question, says, is it the extreme Democrats or does that include the moderate left?
There's no such thing as the moderate left anymore. There is no moderate left. I'm sorry. There's not. The moment that abortion became a political stance versus what they said was a necessity, because that's how they sold abortion anyway, especially in Roe v. Wade, was that it was a necessity and would only be used in emergency. They're no longer moderates. Not when it comes to the Constitution. Either you believe in the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of everyone, or you don't. And if you don't, then you have no bearing and no structure in the Constitution of the United States. You are absolutely antithetical to it. And if you're antithetical, you're not a moderate. You're either a leftist, which is more progressive into the socialist side, or you are, for all intents and purposes, alt-right moving into the fascist side. And although you can move into the fascist side from the progressive side as well, and most often that does take place, there are alt-right groups who are absolutely 100% fascist. Let's put it this way. All progressives are usually fascists, but not all fascists are progressive.
I was reviewing a video today about RFK Jr., specifically about his stance on certain things like abortion. And he absolutely refused to condemn, abortion up to, like, he is for late-term abortions,
Right.
On most of the major hit list items that separate the left and the right, the Republicans versus the Democrats, on most of those big items, he leans pretty far left.
Fuck yeah, he does. Yes, he does. And so does Tulsi Gabbard. I'm so sick of people. Tulsi Gabbard for VP. 4.5 years ago, who did I say were the two choices for VP?
Sorry.
Do you remember? Two choices for
ago.
VP.
No.
4 years ago. Who was it? Two choices for VP I said would be the VP. Oh my God. Come on.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
There was only, dude, one's a chick. We talk about her all the time, Leroy.
I'm
can't.
trying to remember.
Nikki fucking Haley and Ron DeSantis.
Haley. That's right.
And Ron DeSantis. I said all along it's going to be Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley. Well, look where it's coming, folks. Do you guys really think that Kristi Noem's going to be the VP? She just fucking is getting destroyed because of her book is full of lies. She's like, I met with Kim Jong-un. No, you didn't. When the fuck did you go to South Korea or go to the DMZ to meet Kim Jong-un? Let me know when that happened. He doesn't come to the United States, man. He comes to Russia. He goes to Iran. He goes to China. That's it. When the hell were you in any of those countries? Give me a break. You're a South Dakota governor. You have as much reason to meet Kim Jong-un as I have to meet Pee Wee Herman. Doesn't make any sense. Nikki and Ron. I said it all along, Nikki and Ron. And it looks like it's going to be Nikki or Ron. And Ron doesn't necessarily help Donald Trump. I've said it before. I don't believe it brings him as many votes as Nikki does. I'm sorry. Trump supporters aren't going to walk away from him if he picks Nick. You know what they're going to do? They're going to cry for 72 hours and then they're going to say what a genius Donald Trump is. Yeah, he met with DeSantis. I told you, it was going to be one of the two. The point is that it's not, their polling numbers were ridiculously good. So, and Nikki Haley just got 26% of the vote, for God's sakes, in the last primary. You got to address it. It's Benny Thompson tries to revoke his Secret Service detail. Okay, so somebody had a question on Rumble and they said, what happens to Donald Trump's Secret Service detail if he goes to prison? Jail. Sorry. They go in with him and they'll probably stand outside the prison and have access to get with him. Of course. Of course they have to.
It's ridiculous. That whole idea of that is ridiculous. Because
Well, I know.
If he was not running, nobody would give a fuck.
Well, that's it. It's just a joke. That's why I'm saying throw him in prison. Jail. God, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Throw him in jail. Do it. Watch what happens.
I'll be honest too.
I'll tell you what people will do.
If anybody can make me a meme of the Clint Eastwood head from the movie Escaping Alcatraz, but instead of that paper mache head, make it Donald Trump.
Oh, I can do that for you.
That would sell like hotcakes.
Listen, can I be transparent with you? I don't know if there's a jail, prison, whatever that can hold him. Do you really think that his supporters will? Do Do you think that his supporters will allow this to happen? Do you really think that there's not 10,000 fucking cuckoos out there that will show up and try to get? Oh man, if you want to see a riot, if you want to see armed conflict, put Donald Trump in jail and watch what happens. Let me ask you a question. Here's the thing. If they would have jailed, yes. Well, I'm saying you. I'm not saying, hey, listeners. If they would, it's always a question to you because I care about your opinion. If they threw Barack Obama in prison in 2010, do you really believe that there won't be black militant groups who would absolutely storm a jailhouse? And you're gosh damn right there would be.
Absolutely.
Of course, because he was a hero to the militant groups. And he always, gave them the old finger across the nose like Trump did with Proud Boys and everything, and Oath Keepers and all that crap. Promise Keepers, whatever they're called. So my point is I don't want that. Like, that's the last thing I want. We already had that crap. We don't want Republicans in name doing that. But if he goes to prison for jail for freedom of speech, oh, dude, I don't know if that goes over well. Here's the question: Do you imagine sheriff's departments tolerating that? Do you think sheriffs will take their oath to the Constitution, or do you think it's going to be city cops will roll over for the mayor and governor, of course? Well, for the mayor, but do you believe that the sheriffs will stand by and allow that to happen? I don't.
I don't know. That's a rough one.
It is.
I don't
a
know
rough
that
one.
I would see. I don't know that I could see that many of the especially the older ones who would be willing to risk basically the rest of their life's worth of retirement and income for a political move. And at that point, right? We are fully in 1984 when we start jailing our political opponents, and people are afraid, right, to voice their opinion, to let that be known. That says something. That should terrify everyone.
The sheriffs, in Virginia, they created safe zones for firearms. When they started blacklisting, it's illegal in Virginia to own an AR in certain counties. The sheriffs rebuked it and said, this is a gun-free zone. Our sheriff did it. You can bring your guns to my town and you can store them here free of any persecution in any way, shape, or form. Drop them off at your friend's house and you don't need any registration. Just do it and they'll be kept safe. Listen, Tim Scott. Okay, Marco Rubio doesn't bring him anything. Tim Scott doesn't bring him. Tim Scott might bring him some of the black vote. Ben Carson would be a better choice. Ben Carson, I hate to say this, but Tim Scott's an Uncle Tom. I'm sorry. No offense. You know what? Yes, offense. I don't care. He's an Uncle Tom. And he's out there. I like the way Donald Trump makes fun of me. I like the way he talks to me with a devil's tongue. I like it when he lashes me. No, I want a man with some backbone. You know what? You may not like that, but that's just the truth. And he completely went up on stage and went after Donald Trump, said how he was, was going to go after him. He was going to go be separate from his policies, that he didn't align with him. And then the moment that he dropped out of the race, he was kissing Donald Trump's pucker. I don't like people like that. That's a politician. Ben Carson didn't get into the fray. Ben Carson didn't throw his hat in, and he never trounced Trump in 2016. Ben Carson is a gentleman, and he's a nobleman. And honestly, DeSantis didn't get into the mudslinging as well. Nikki Haley did, because she's like, fuck you, dude. You're going to call me this and that and this and that, and call me bird brain. Fuck you. I'll play your game. She's Indian, man.
I do appreciate when you see a little bit of dissent in the Republican Party for the people, what Matt is talking about, who are the people that are just willing to go along with any and everything that Trump says, right? Just because they think that they're, that in some way they're going to be rewarded for their loyalty. And I hate that. I hate that word loyalty in terms of politicians, because to me, loyalty doesn't go with a person. Your loyalty falls to it's right here. It's right there. That's where your loyalty should lie. And I hate the idea that somebody would be willing to just say, "Oh, I'll go along with what he says because I trust." No,
Yeah,
just refer
no,
to
that's not
This
the.
is your instruction guide, right there.
It just comes down to Vivek Ramaswamy gives you the Trump vote. Byron Daniels gives you the Trump vote. Carrie Lake gives you the Trump vote. Kristi Noem gives you the Trump vote. The only one that doesn't give you the Trump vote are the Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Folks, I can only be right for so long. There is no short list. Donald Trump is not, he just invited like 26 people up on the stage who were all possible VP picks. He is going to milk this for all it's worth. And in the end, Donald Trump will always do what Donald Trump always does, what's best for Donald Trump. And he will make the decision that's best for him. And if Nikki Haley continues to pull 26%, she's going to be in his cabinet. You make her Secretary of State is what you do, and you give Ron DeSantis VP or vice versa. But either way,
Assuming it wins.
Yeah. Assuming what?
Assuming he wins.
Well, he doesn't need to win to do that. You just say she's going to be my Secretary of State. They usually name their cabinet ahead of time. So somebody just said, hold on. No, some of us are speculating and some of us are using actual factual data to make our predictions for the last 4 years. And I hate to say it, I'm the only one that actually has been accurate. I'm sorry, with all due respect. The numbers, people were like, there's no way Nikki Haley could possibly get, there's no way that Ron DeSantis, they're honestly the two leading factors right now. Ben Carson's great. Daniels is great, but they don't give him anything. And you don't pick a VP to give you what you already have. Florida is going to go to Trump no matter what.
Right.
So who do you want to go get Nikki?
You pick a VP to make up for a demographic or an area, right, that will help solidify some of those votes that better your chance for getting into the White House. That's
Paul Rivera says, no, Daniel Jackson says, Carly Lake has paid her dues. What? What do you mean? What dues? She couldn't even win a Senate race.
Parking tickets?
She couldn't win governor, and she's going to struggle in her Senate race. Carrie Lake hasn't won anything. She hasn't done anything. She's a weather girl. She's a newscaster. No. Carrie Lake gives you MAGA. You already have MAGA. You don't. You guys and girls, the vice president is picked. Okay, let's go to the list. Okay, let's do the list. All right, great. John F. Kennedy. Who is his VP?
Oh crap! I don't remember.
LBJ. Lyndon Baines Johnson.
That's right.
What did LBJ give him? What state did he give Kennedy?
Who?
Texas and the South. Because Kennedy, they thought he was soft on communism. So what do? You put a giant, huge redneck on his ticket who's a Democrat, and he wins Texas. John F. Kennedy won the election because of LBJ, because of what he did with the South. So now you know that. Okay, great. Let's go into who was Gerald Ford's. No, let's not do Gerald Ford. Let's move forward. Let's go to Ronnie Reagan. Who is Ronald Reagan's? You know this. Come on, Leroy. Ronald Reagan's VP.
I'm trying to think.
Read my lips.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, George Bush Sr.
Bush Sr.
Yeah, so Ronald Reagan was Hollywood. He was against communism, but they didn't feel that his world policy was going to be strong enough. So what do? You go get the director of the CIA. And you put an Intel fat cat on there. So globally, they feel comfortable. George Bush, great choice. Who did Bush go with? Do you remember?
Who?
Come on. Well, you got to just take some time with me. Who do you think it was?
I
Bush.
don't remember.
Bush daddy, Dan Quayle.
That's right.
So
Danny
no, Dan Quayle. Was Danny Quayle? Yeah, he was. Well, hold on. Yes. So Danny Quayle. So what did Bush have? He had that starched freaking CIA attitude, but he did not have the speak. He had the accent, and he read my lips, no more taxes. So what do? You go get a Harvard elite to go ahead and bring in the educated, which Republicans were losing, was the educated white male. You get Dan Quayle, you get that Harvard mouth to come in there, and you put him in. So now what do you,
so, and that's exactly what we were saying, is like, whatever your strengths are, right? You choose a VP not based off of your strengths, because you're already strong in that area.
and we're not done.
You're picking the VP based on the areas where you are lacking.
Or let's look at George Bush Jr., for instance. He's a partier, fun-loving guy, very Bill Clinton-esque. He doesn't have a saxophone and doesn't go ahead and play with Monica Lewinsky under the desk, but he likes that chocolate chip cookie, all right, absolutely. So you've got Bush Jr., he lacks experience. So what do? You put the Secretary of Defense, Dick Cheney, in there, who gives you that global military presence that George Bush, even though he was National Guard, Air National Guard, doesn't really give him any chops. So you put Dick Cheney. All right, now let's look at President Obama. What did Obama have? Well, he certainly had the black vote. So what do you have to do? You got to go get that I like white people black vote. So you put in Joe Biden, because, he just has those black people. If you don't vote for him, you ain't black. But Joe Biden gave him the Carolinas, and Obama did not really poll well in the Carolinas, north or south. Joe Biden gave him that. Okay, so now let's go to McCain. Who was McCain's running mate?
I don't remember.
I see Russia from my house.
Oh, Sarah. That's right.
You
Sarah
betcha.
Palin.
Yeah, you betcha. I see Russia from my house. Yeah. So you got Sarah Palin. Absolutely. That's outstanding. So you go with McCain. Why? Because McCain's an old as dust. So you get a hot chick to come in, the new conservative blood. So you get the female vote, because the last thing that the women want was an old freaking geezer. So then you get Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he's a philanderer. The Christian movement didn't believe in him. They said, grab him by the pussy. So what do? You grab Mike Pence, who's a freaking Christian conservative, and you put him in there to stabilize. Who did Joe Biden pick? A black woman. Why? Because he was lacking in the
tried to keep off the bus.
Because Pete Buttigieg, the gay guy, and Bernie Sanders, the commie. So what do? You put the second most progressive person in the Senate next to Biden, who happens to be Kamala Harris, and you take away the Bernie Sanders vote. Folks, you don't pick what you're going to get. You don't pick Carrie Lake because she's just going to give you the MAGA vote. You don't pick Daniels because he's going to give you the MAGA vote. You don't pick Noam because you're going to get the MAGA vote. Ben Carson, okay, now you're going to get some black vote. You're going to get the educated white males. You're going to get the educated female. Is it enough? Absolutely not. Ben Carson doesn't deliver him the presidency. Who does? I've said it 100 times. Nikki fucking Haley or Ron DeSantis delivers him the presidency. Okay? Good. Marco Rubio. Bleh. You already got Florida. Why do you want Florida again? Why would... and Perot.
Marco Rubio looks like the Green Goblin to me. I don't know.
Dude, there is a third-party candidate in this race, folks, with RFK, and Jill Stein's going to be in there. She literally handed it to Trump. It wasn't just Comey. She took 7.5 points. That all went from Clinton. You've got Jill Stein back in this race. You have RFK. They are both going to pull from Biden. Trump could win this just on that alone. Why not put the nail in the effing coffin by throwing DeSantis on the ticket? So you can get all those never Trumpers or Nikki Haley. They're gonna go out to pasture anyway. They don't make policy. They don't do anything. Well, what if Donald Trump dies? The vice president doesn't stay president, folks. That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Senate gets involved. Senate would then elect a new vice president. So now you got to ask yourself the question. Can Nikki Haley run the country if she has to? Can Ron DeSantis run the country? And my answer is I'd much rather have Ron DeSantis running the country than Nikki Haley. I think anybody would. But can she do the job? Sure. Sure, she can do the job. I think you guys don't like Nikki Haley because Donald Trump told you not to. You can't tell me why. Trump and RFK, I don't want a liberal in the White House. Why does anyone want someone who hates guns, is for unfettered access to abortion, and actually believes in transgender and gender assignment surgery? That's your RFK. Leroy, can we tell them that RFK is not a Republican?
He is not a Republican.
Not even close.
His stance on I looked up most of the hot hot button items today. He was for the Green New Deal. He is for late term abortions. He definitely seems to encourage more and more centralized power. So yeah, no, he is not a Republican. He is not a good guy, right? It's just that he is picking up votes where Biden has turned people off of the Democrat Party. Those Democrats who did like Biden at one point and now are pissed off at him either because of the economy or just simply because he's 120 years old. Whatever the case is, those votes are going to RFK Jr. because the dude is an extreme leftist.
And people say, well, what does Ron DeSantis bring you? You already have Florida, and a lot of people like he's MAGA. No, Ron DeSantis was winning like Haley on the moderate, the never Trumpers. So even if you bring over a quarter of those never Trumpers, it's worth it. So that's what he brings you the national vote. Nikki Haley brings you the national vote. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis also close the popular vote too. It's going to make it a much more enticing ticket nationally. And that's the thing, why Democrats always win is because they're not, look at all the national wins from a popularity of Republican candidates who've won it. And it's always because they have an appealing ticket. Like Ronald Reagan, he slapped Mondale out of next week because it was a very appealing ticket. So if you have Joe Biden and Kamala and you have Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, that is an appealing ticket for a lot of people because they're like, let Donald Trump do the peace stuff, let him do the world stuff, let him do the economy stuff, give Nikki Haley foreign affairs, give her to have NATO and put a genital cuff on NATO and the UN. It makes sense. What's up?
Nothing. I was reading some of these comments about like Kamala, oh my, some of these guys really do not like Kamala. She was the throat goat, somebody said. Jesus Christ. It would be great, honestly, and I'm being for real. Like, it would be great if we could go 4 years with the White House where we didn't have some sort of controversy, where people weren't making jokes for 4 years that we had a vice president that would gargle a shake weight for practice on Saturday night. Just like let it go. Can we go for 4 fucking years without this kind of bullshit?
Wouldn't that be nice? Alan Griffin says, Matt, is Olivia with you? I need you to ask her a question. Which hat does she want? And another two of a personal matter. Very important. I know the hat, you said black or red, and she said black, and she wanted a small. What's the other question? Text it to me. Folks, we have not asked in a little bit. I got asked now. It's a slow night for donations. Linktabgo.com/the Dumb Show. Folks, this Dumb Show literally survives on your donations. Now that Facebook has completely taken away our revenue stream, we are a podcast without a home. And although we're growing on Spreely and growing on our other channels, they have literally cut our legs out from underneath us when it comes to revenue. If you have the ability, please think of donating to The Dumb Show. It is an amazing opportunity to help a show that you watch, you care about, same people, same bat channel. We would appreciate it. I need a number to call you. It's that personal. Yeah. Amy, give him my phone number, please, but do it outside of chat. Do it through PM and give him my phone number, please. All right.
Smoke signals. Can we do that?
We could. Next video. Want to get to this real quick. Actually, first we're going to do a quick commercial video. Folks, we are doing another run of the Documents of Freedom. This probably will be our last run for a while. If you have not had a chance to take a look, take a look. Hey, what's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me podcast. It's interesting. I've had these books for, 3 years now, and I've got 3 independent books of the Declaration, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution of the United States that I inherited from my mother, leather-bound, beautiful, and they're older books, 1935, 1937, something to that effect. I'll show them on the show, but people see me reference these nightly on the show, and the interesting thing is the website. And thanks, JD. Someone asked last night, hey, how the heck do I get those books? Where do I get those books? And it dawned on me that I should provide these. So they are now on sale. They're beautiful books. They're leatherette books. They're hardback, which is nice. They don't have a dust cover or anything. I've used these, like I said, ad nauseum, and they hold up and they stand the test of time. They've got pictures of the framers, founders, inside the books, they make references with different colors to kind of explain things in a little bit of a simpler way or give some context. But these books, word for word, are the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. They are absolutely stunning. You get each book individually for $15.99 over at thedumshow.com. We also have a bundle over there where you can save $5 on all three for $44.99. And last but not least, the pictures you've just been looking at and the video is the Documents of Freedom, custom made by PFC Flags, comes in an amazing, beautiful, decorative box for $64.99. Stop by thedumshow.com and take a look. They're available right now. All right. Appreciate you, folks. Hey, stop talking. Knock it off. Appreciate everybody. Got another topic for tonight. We were going to do this. Good parenting. Is this good parenting? Let's watch. And then
in the car when I told you to.
And I want Leroy for you to share your scariest teaching moment with your mom and dad, and then I'll tell you mine. Here's the video, and tell me good parenting or not first after you watch this.
You should have got in the car when I told you to. How many times did I tell you to get in the car? Go get in your seat right
Are
now.
you up, kid?
You should have got in the car when I told you to.
Get them cleats on, boy.
Good. I would watch the boy shit, redneck. So, what's the, what good parenting or bad parenting?
Honestly, I have seen so much worse in my day. My needle immediately reflects back to mid 1970s, and I would say that's not bad. It's not great. Good parenting, maybe.
What? How is that not great parenting?
Get in the car. I said get in the car.
That's right. You don't get in the car. We drove off. I mean, I've done it to my kids, and I'm sorry. Why do I have to tell you twice? I will tell you this. I don't need to tell my kids twice about anything. And the reason why is because I don't screw around. Like, I'll leave them. And that's the way it is. Now, controlled. Thank you, Anon, for $10.80. We appreciate it. That helps. Like one time, Hayden didn't. Here's my story of what I went through with Hayden, and then I'll tell you my scariest moment. We were at Disneyland, and Hayden wasn't listening to mom, and she was constantly just wandering off. So I went to go get the stroller because you parked this. We had the double wide stroller.
Yeah.
Were those people, and it's parked off to the side, and Hayden follows me, and I turn around and I see her in the corner of my eye, and she didn't ask mom, so I lose her on purpose. And she starts looking around for me, can't see me. And oh my God, I've never seen so much terror in my life. And my first reaction was, go get your kid. And then I'm like, you know what? There's a lesson to be learned here. And she's 3.5. And it's time for her to learn a little bit of fear, a little bit of panic. And she, Daddy. And I'm just sitting there going, and people are looking around. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm watching her, and people are like, like, we got you. Yeah. Who's your daddy, sweetheart? Where is he? And I'm like, so,
who's your daddy, and what does he do? Yeah.
I got a call from Ontario, Canada right now. I can't answer this right now. We're doing a show. Is it something going on that if this is an emergency, let me know and I'll answer the phone. Otherwise, we can do this when we get off the show, or call into the 1-800 number. But anyway, so that was a lesson. Then I went over to her and I'm like, sweetie, is everything okay? She's like, oh my God, and blubbering all over the place. So that was mine. Now, my mom and dad, my uncle was a cop in Ventura County.
Oh.
And I had stolen something from the local gas station store. And when I did, they called the police. And my mom and dad put me in a squad car and handcuffed. They read me my rights and turned on the lights. Thank you, Amy, for your donation. I appreciate it greatly. And I sat in the back of that squad car with little tiny handcuffs on that I could have fallen out of right? And they were plastic handcuffs, but it doesn't matter. It's all the, you don't know any better. And I'm sitting there, and there's my breath on the window, and snot from crying, and cop comes out and he's like, all right, your mom and dad have convinced me not to take you to jail. But I'll tell you what, if I ever catch you doing this again, your parents will never get me to stop, and you'll never see them again. You'll go to prison. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. I never stole anything again.
Donald Trump with you?
No, unfortunately. But that's the point is like, I learned a lesson, and people go, oh, you can't do that. A cop would get frickin', investigative service IAD would be all over his ass, and he would be doxxed and canceled and probably spend time in prison nowadays. But I'll tell you what, it was an integral part of me growing up, scaring kids straight. Now, come on, man. Can you tell me a time that you did that to your kids?
Oh, I could give you 100 examples. I will say this. I have a generalized philosophy on parenting, just so that everyone knows. I have a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old. So mine are a little bit older now. When they were younger, certainly we had issues. Caught my oldest on the roof once. God, the shit that they used to pull. My philosophy is that your kids need to know that you love them and support them, and that they can come to you for advice and a hug anytime, right? And that goes for 99% of the time. That other 1% of the time, they need to be scared to death of you. And I know that sounds terrible, but there is a very real, we all grew up, I did, in the 70s and 80s with the parent who would shoot you the look, right? The look of
yeah, that's the look. That's it, right? If you blink, you're dead. Yeah.
And so you understood what that meant. And at some point, there's at least one or two viewers in there who saw that and was like, oh, shit.
Right.
Shit just got real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that ability. If you don't, your kids are going to walk all over you. And coming from an abusive background my own self, I have struggled with this because I wanted to make sure that I supported my kids and that they knew that I loved them. But you have to be careful that you don't overcorrect, because if you overcorrect, then you run the issue of, a Hunter Biden type scenario. So, I could tell you a handful of times where we either did something like that, where we would just like kind of inch away and Ryan would either freak out or Sean, not listening. And so I'd fucking lock him in the car for a few minutes. When you do that kind of thing, you have to make sure that it's under controlled circumstances and nobody's in danger.
I got a 911, buddy. I got a 911. I'm so sorry. So right now, nobody, and I mean nobody from the Don't Unfriend Me show is asking anyone for money, and we never will. Whoever is getting messages, there is a duplicate page. These people are scammers. They are hitting everybody. Olivia is not asking anyone for money. If my wife is asking, it's a lie. It's a duped account. They did this with Deidre, and she's like, oh, I'm going to spend $60,000. They got all their bank account information. People are trying to steal. Please, please, please do not give. It is not me. It is not Olivia. We will never contact you for money. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. If I do, I will call you because it's something that you might owe for like the Dumb Club or something, or maybe a shirt that you bought and I got to ask you about your size, or maybe we're out of stock, so I want to replace it with something else, or whatever, or maybe there's a clarification on your address. I'll call you or I'll email you and you'll know it's me. But all you got to do is ask them a couple of questions, and they don't know. Now they do know my wife's Olivia, and they're starting to do this. Report these motherfuckers. And if you see them, share who they are, but don't report real Olivia. Make sure you know and look at the account. It'll have very few friends. Do not follow them. Do not like them. Nobody from the Don't Unfriend Me show is asking you for money, ever. Unless it's on this show when I talk about donations. Yes, they're hitting people that share it. They're hitting people who donate. Do not allow them to do this and report them. Please, please, please report them as scammers. Report them multiple times so we can get them shut down. Please. Olivia is not contacting anyone for money. Do not give these people money. Okay? All right. Anything that happened to you as a kid, you know what? We don't need to go into that. You and I both had a shitty childhood, so we don't need to go into that. I want to show you David Hogg. You know who David Hogg is?
Yes.
He
2A
is
activist.
Yeah, 2A activist. He is endorsing. First of all, it's kind of exciting because anytime David Hogg endorses these progressive candidates, they always lose. So I'm like, oh, thank God. He's like 0 for 14. I hit him up on Twitter today. I'm like, aren't you like 0 for? Did you really back up better? Oh yeah, I'm like, didn't you? Well, he backed up a guy in Virginia who got his ass kicked.
Yeah, I remember him talking about.
He
Beto.
supported Beto.
Yeah.
So here's the video of Molly Hatchet. Oh, I'm sorry, Molly Cook.
When I clock in for work, I know every second counts. I'm Democrat Molly Cook, and in the ER, it's those seconds that can save a life. And
just not babies.
Clock is always ticking in Texas. Will today be the day we're racing to save her after a miscarriage, repairing the damage of a gunshot wound, keeping neighbors alive after the power goes out? I'm Molly Cook, and I'm running for Texas Senate because we don't have any more time to wait.
She's going to get a significant portion of the vote because she's attractive.
Never trust redheads. There's this. And then you have this. Democrats are desperate, folks. These ads are they're playing on your emotions. So then the White House does this.
Absolutely. It's all good.
First of all, I happen to know when someone's been drinking. Mark Hamill's shit-faced up on this podium. It's not allegedly. Mark, sue me, Luke. Use the fucking farce. Use a little bit of bread before you get up on stage, dude.
Yeah.
Here,
so Taco Bell is for, man.
Dude, you drank from the nipples of a sea monster, green liquid in the movie. You are so far. What a woke.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when I crossed the equator. Oh.
No. Yeah. I think we also did that when we shell backed. But Mark Hamill, man, in the Star Wars movie, just drinks this dilapidated fucking sea urchin's green nipples and drinks the fluid. I'm just like, dude, this shit's weird. Like people don't understand. Luke Skywalker is the Jedi of all Jedis. He is hands down one of the most powerful Jedis. He's got Skywalker blood. He flirts with the dark side and the Force. And the reason why is because he released his anger on Darth Vader. If you look at that, the Emperor said, release your anger. Well, he went to the dark side. So he dabbles, when you go into the Dark Horse books, he flirts with the dark and light of the Force. And he is an incredible swordsman, an incredible fighter. He is super strong with the Force. And they turned him into a fucking, just a hippie. And honestly, the Big Lebowski was more threatening than fucking this guy. And I can't stand him. So when they got him, I'm like, oh my God, how desperate are they? Well, listen to this.
Legislative successful president in my lifetime. And, I don't have to go through the list, the bipartisan infrastructure law, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, all of that, inflation, 15 million jobs. Look, it's all good. I mean, I was really thrilled to meet the entire staff because, it's not just one person. It's like a composite endeavor. And all these people, my goodness, I have no idea. I had no idea just what went into what is on his plate on a daily basis. So that's pretty much it. I'm open to questions, although no Star Wars questions, please.
That's all you're known for.
But I want to say once again how
and Joker
grateful I am. And it just shows you that one person can be so influential and so positive in our lives. And again, thank you so much. And
How can you be out of breath on a podium? Seriously, how can you get exhausted just standing? Listen,
he's not well.
Does this help?
If he makes it 5 more years, I will be shocked.
Does this help? Does any of this help? Is there any generational people who bonded with Luke in the movies? Did anyone love Luke? Who was your favorite character in Star Wars? Come on, answer the question.
I gotta say Vader.
Okay, who was your second favorite character?
Chewie.
Who's your third favorite character?
R2-D2.
Who's your fourth?
What is going on here?
Just answer the question. Who's your fourth?
Luke at some point, yeah.
Really? Luke was your, not Han Solo? Not Boba Fett?
No, because you always want to be, there is a level of the young ideological guy with the lightsaber, trying to figure out the universe. I connected with that.
Everybody was so much better. Luke was a sniveling little twat in those films. I couldn't fucking stand him. He was
total
a cunt.
cunt.
Yeah, total cunt in the films. He was a cunt in the new ones too. And I couldn't. I fucking hated Luke Skywalker. Like when they cut off his hand, I was like, oh, good.
I hope that was your masturbating hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that was your pimp hand, and you never get laid again. I didn't like Luke Skywalker, and I thought he was just a whiny little bitch. I love Solo. Yeah. I like Solo. I love Princess Leia. I love Lando. I love Chewie. I love C-3PO, R2-D2. I even like Yoda, Ben Kenobi. I like Dak. Boba Fett was one of my favorite. IG-38 was one of my favorite. Jabba the Hutt was amazing. I can go on and on and on. I even love the fucking Tauntauns and the iced mammoth. I love the AT-ATs and the freaking Imperial Walkers more than I like Luke Skywalker. I think Luke Skywalker was a complete douche plow. He didn't earn being a Jedi. He studied for 2 fucking days.
And let's be clear, at the end of the first movie, the real hero there was not Luke Skywalker.
It was fucking
Han.
just
kind of, no, it was Han. Han came in last second and saved Luke's ass.
That's it. That's right. And Luke Skywalker was a putz. He was a putz. I mean, he had it right. I mean, Han Solo had it right. He's just a naive little kid. What does he know? And, and he's a braggart. And then he lies to Solo. She's rich. Con artist. He gets Ben Kenobi killed. Ben! Dude, you distract him in a fight. Seriously.
In that bar where that one mercenary was like, I don't like you either. I wish you would have finished the job. Just like, and it would have been so much better of a series,
You'll be dead. I'll be careful. You'll be dead. Yeah.
I made this point the other day on the DUM page. The fact that somebody who was such an integral part of a universe that was like that made the absolute distinction between an honorable republic and an empire with an authoritarian leader, if you couldn't, having played in that universe fictionally, if you couldn't draw those lines to real world what's happening now, you're an idiot.
Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering. Suffering leads to the dark side.
You do that really well.
Thank you. So here's the thing. Just the thing. Han Solo ran the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. He earned his place. Princess Leia survived torture from the Imperial fucking Guard. Had sodium pentothal and other torturous devices up her keister. Yeah. And she earned her role. Oh, Ben Kenobi had to die. He fought in the fucking Clone Wars. He earned his keep. Darth Vader lost both legs and both arms and was burned to death, for God's sakes. And he gave up on and killed his own wife, Padme. He earned his keep. Yoda went into exile because he failed to kill the Emperor. He paid his. Lando was fucking was banished to Cloud City for his gambling debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, he lost the Millennial Falcon from gambling cards. Everybody, even C-3PO and fucking R2-D2. C-3PO was torn apart. He had his eye popped out by fucking Jabba's little.
Yeah.
R2-D2 was shackled. He fucking got taken over by Jawas. He got tased by Jawas. Everybody sacrificed and paid a price. What did Luke sacrifice? Oh, you lost a hand. Big fucking deal. You got a new one at the end of the show. You got a robotic one. It's probably better and stronger. It probably doesn't get tired.
The only reason people rooted for him, the only reason people liked him was because he survived an 800-year-old little green dude's 1-week boot camp. That's it.
900 years.
Whatever.
Don't discredit. Hey, give the man his fucking respect. He's a master Jedi. Thank you very much. Okay. His midichlorian count is just slightly behind Darth Vader. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now that we've uncovered that Mark Hamill's a complete dick and a complete liberal, mind you, I'm done with this guy. Here's another one. And then we're going to shove off because I got to go.
To join us.
Watch this. The Dark Brandon. Oh, God, it's so pathetic. I'm so sick of this crap. Dark Brandon. Here we go.
Oh, the glasses, yeah.
There's no introduction that really is needed here. I have a special guest, as you can see. Mark Hamill has decided to join us on this wonderful Friday, and I am really excited.
Looks like a mouth breather there, doesn't he?
To Mr. Hamill. Here we go.
Okay, how many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands?
There's no introduction that.
Joe Biden's desperate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
How about a veteran? How about a veteran small business? How about somebody who has actually done something that means anything? You starred in 3 movies that were fantastic, and the Holy Trilogy. But you were the voice of Joker. You were one of the best voices of Joker. I think you are the best voice of Joker. Fantastic. Mark Hamill does a great job in the animated series and in the Batman trilogy games. But I don't want to hear what you think about politics, okay?
Exactly.
Just because you fought the Emperor, just because you went ahead and, took down Palpatine. Okay, well, Darth Vader actually took down Palpatine. But just because you're not a rebel. You're a putz. And anybody that has to get liquored up before they get on stage, we already have that in KJP. What's the difference? Seriously. Yeah, did he make any more sense than KGP makes at any given day?
No.
What's Biden's angle here, dude? Who's he trying to relate to?
Well, I think there's the people that are in Biden's camp that are reading him the daily polls, so these polls that get released from Quinnipiac and from every other source, they are all relaying the same information, was that, hey, you are suffering in certain demographics. And one of the biggest influencers and influences, right, is going to be the people from Hollywood, the actors that we've all grown up with. In some point, whether you realize it or not, if Sylvester Stallone came out there and said that he endorsed a candidate, there's a very big percentage of people that would say, oh my God, Sylvester Stallone said it, so it must be true. And so that's the exact same type of energy that they are hoping to bring, right?
I don't know if I don't know that's right.
I know it is.
I don't know.
The people that watch a lot of these movies and grow up with them, right? There's a psychological trick that happens when you watch a movie like that, because you see these actors who get paid to express their emotions on big screen, and you feel like you know them.
I don't know.
All of a sudden, you feel like I know them and I can trust them. And so if politicians then capitalize on that trust, then it shifts the polls by a percentage or 2.
See, I don't know if it's that much. I can't imagine that okay, so let me ask you a question. If Idris Elba came out and endorsed Joe Biden, would you sway your vote?
I don't give a fuck.
See, you don't give a fuck, but he's your favorite fucking actor in the world. You would sleep with him.
But they're all trained. I understand what Hollywood is, though, and I know you do too. They are
Yeah.
trained monkeys. You are there to sell tickets, to do a couple of karate chops in a movie to make it look good. That's why we go see you. You're no smarter than I am.
Little bit racist tonight. You said boy to a little black child, the way you get over here, boy. And then you just basically called Idris Elba a trained monkey. That's okay, because Izzo and I talked about it this morning. Okay, I get all black people are trained monkeys. Leroy, you got to stop.
All actors
you
are.
got Leroy, Tom Izzo and I did this morning, and it was brutal. I mean, it was just like if we're ever going to be canceled, he's amazing. He is a good guy.
I fucking love Izzo. He's awesome.
He is a really good dude, and I think people misjudge him, but he is a really cool dude. All right, folks, listen. We got one more in the tank, and then we're done. This one's easy. This is Gen Z voters, and it's only 23 seconds.
January 6th, we saw.
But okay, as much as I don't want to hear from Mark Hamill, I don't want to hear from a 20-year-old about the state of the world. Okay, you don't know shit. It's like Nick Fuentes. Yes, Nick Fuentes. He's 27. If I wanted to hear from a 20-year-old, I would go back and read some of my college papers that were completely just full of shit and way off base. I don't want to hear from children. I don't believe we should have 85-year-olds running for office, but I don't believe we should have fucking 25 and 30-year-olds running for the presidency. A happy medium is fine with me. Between 35 and 65 is good. You're not too old. You're not too young. You are getting wise, and you have lived a lot of experiential learning and practical learning to apply. But this is, oh my God. I just listen to this take. It just screams minimum wage.
Biggest thing for me is just simply democracy. I mean, we saw January 6th. We saw, Trump just gradually eroding things away over the course of his term. And now he's admitting it flat out. I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I don't think that's just rhetoric. I think that's an admission. I think that's almost a boast. Biggest thing.
Oh, it's so tired, dude. These CNN talking points. That's not what he said. That's not what he said, Leroy. Leroy, do you know what Trump said?
I don't know. I don't know the context of what he said. I do know that I have heard that that same quote, and I know that it's mischaracterized. And I don't need to go any further into it than that. I just know that I've heard that same talking point over and over and over again.
Here, what he said was, Hannity's like, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" And he's like, "No. Except for on day one, when I go in and essentially I write a bunch of executive orders undoing everything that Biden did, because he feels Donald Trump's not a big executive order type guy, but he does it because he believes those policies are harmful to the United States. And I'm sorry, when you have Joe Biden who writes a bunch of, good night, brother, get some rest. I love you. You're going to school tomorrow, right? You're not going to throw up. You're going to school tomorrow. You got it. Get out of here. So when you look at Donald Trump, when he limited regulations on small business and throttled small business, when he opened up the overall energy independence and the leases on lands, when he created and took a lot of the EPA regulations off, and he empowered the banks to give small business loans in a more lenient, effective way, the economy responded. Mm-hmm. The opposite is true for Joe Biden. Joe Biden put all of Biden's executive orders back in place, which opened up the border, which reserved energy independence, which throttled small businesses, which benefited the EPA. And look what happened to the economy. And look what happened to our country. Dude, we were talking about this. I can't even go to the store. I can't even buy food anymore. I'm not. Who is coming up with these prices? Somebody said something about aluminum foil. $12 for a roll of aluminum foil. $12 fucking dollars. I can almost buy a freaking dime bag of crack for that. Leroy, when is this? Can can the dollar stabilize with a Democrat in office? I understand that if you take Democrats and Republicans and you look at the last 6 or 7 presidents, Democrats have a better economy than Republicans. That's absolutely true. But you also don't look at what they do by cutting defense spending. And then there's usually a conflict that they start, and fucking Republicans got to go and save the day and increase the budget, and then you get deficit.
Sure.
This has been the MO. Bill Clinton did it. Jimmy Carter did it. Yeah. Obama did it. It's not that hard to understand. Yes, they had net positive, non-deficit spending, but their GNP wasn't any good. And they still didn't balance the budget. So they still overspent. But people are like, yeah, but look at how less they overspent compared to other people. That's what happens when you cut the fucking defense budget by $600 fucking billion. Go ahead, Leroy.
So full disclosure for everyone, the economy is one of those things that I care passionately about. And I firmly and wholeheartedly believe that if we as a nation are able to control the taxes in some way that it affects the size of the government, okay? And because of my very obvious right political leanings, I believe that a lower tax rate, right, or lower tax revenue to the government tends to rope in some of those programs. Now, that being said, what Matt is talking about, how, yes, technically speaking, under a lot of Democrat campaigns, that their economies tend to work better. Now, is that a function of inflation? If prices are up, right, then obviously stocks go up, pay goes up, everything goes up, right? Republicans tend to focus on the prices for everything, while the Democrats will then take that same data set and just focus in on, hey, look, the stock market hit an all-time high. Hey, look, people's paychecks are at an all-time high. They're all part of the same equation. I really wish it wasn't like that, but that's just the optics of politics. You know, when we talk about like the Milton Friedmans and the Walter Williams and Thomas Sowell and Harry Hazlitt and all of the economists that I have read and really studied, the one that stands out to me the most will always be Milton Friedman. He lets it be known inflation comes from one damn source. One. Yeah. It is the government printing too much money. And when they do that and they inject it into the system, right, that causes too many dollars in search of too few goods. Now, the flip side of that coin, of course, then is again, it's that political argument where all of those optics, you know, the Democrats will shift those prisms around to say, oh, look, your stock market, pay, everything like that. And it just never fucking ends. And in the meantime, the only people that really get hurt during times of high inflation are the people who have the most in their savings accounts. The retirees, they're the ones who the government is stealing from. It just, God, the whole thing bothers me. It really does.
I still fervently believe that we will never see $1 of Social Security.
Oh, you're probably right.
I just don't think we'll ever see $1. And the value of it
will mean nothing.
Now, well, Social Security overall gets a pay raise, supposedly to adjust inflation. But everybody knows that, say you have $746 a month. How in the fuck are you supposed to go ahead and live on $746 a month?
You can't.
It's impossible. And just what we need to understand is that this whole retirement thing, it's a lie. And I am keeping myself in the best shape possible so I can work when I'm 75.
Oh yeah.
Because I there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to have to. And at least this show, like, that's why I don't ever want to lose it, because I believe that this is something that can help me through the future. And I have faith that it will. But if you don't have something, I would never suggest retiring and stay relevant.
When would the government want you, Matt? When would the government want you to peace out?
As soon as I hit retirement age to collect Social Security, they would love for me to die.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, right? That's the most beneficial to the U.S. when you're no longer a taxpayer. You've
paid everything into the system, and now when it's time to pull it out, that's when they want you to kick off.
That is a wonderful, you know what? That is a wonderful way to end the show, because you and I always say it's antithetical for the United States government to kill its citizens or to want them to not prosper until they're done paying taxes. I think that's the caveat to that statement, right? Leroy, you got a minute. Take your time. Go ahead.
If we continue as a nation down the left aisle in terms of the government and their level of rule and what their ideas of freedom or lack thereof is, the opening line to George Orwell's 1984 novel was, if you want to picture the future, imagine a boot stomping down on a human face forever. If we continue down this leftist path, that's what we're going to end up with. And the best defense for that, right, are these three documents: the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence.
Declaration. Yes, sir.
Okay. Those three items, if we can preserve those, which is really, and it doesn't matter which party it says that they would support it. If the Republicans changed their value system tomorrow and all of a sudden they were like, pro-abortion and everything, I would immediately switch. I support this stuff, not necessarily the parties. So
I don't support the parties at all. I'm sick of Republicans.
Yeah.
Really, I am. I'm sick. They're all. There is no Republican and Democrat anymore. There's a uniparty. I'm going to end. My 1 minute's going to end on this, and I wanted you to hear this, and I don't think you had. So I'm going to play it, Frank, because I figured you'd appreciate it. Here it is. Good afternoon, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. This is Slapcheck. And ladies and gentlemen who have an issue with the Second Amendment, I want to clarify a phrase often debated in the Second Amendment, the words well-regulated. Historically, this didn't mean government-controlled, but rather properly functioning. It's crucial because the entire Bill of Rights was crafted to protect the people from government overreach, not facilitate it. The militia mentioned was meant to defend against any threat, including potential government tyranny. This context raises an important question. Why would the Founding Fathers, having just overthrown a tyrant, draft a law that could leave citizens vulnerable to government oppression? The Second Amendment isn't just a right, it's a crucial check on governmental power. Thank you.
So good. I love it. There was a guy. There was a guy named Rakovi, and in 1997 he won a Pulitzer Prize for history, and in 1998 something called the Cox Book won for his book called Original Meanings, and I'm sorry, it was the Cox Book Prize. That was a separate prize from the Pulitzer, and in that book, Original Meanings, he actually hashes over what it means to be well-regulated, and he hits it right on the head, exactly that argument. Yeah.
Folks, if you have not had a chance, linktapgo.com/thedumshow, you can donate to the show directly. You can do that monthly, you can do that daily, you can do it weekly, you can do it annually, or you can just do it one time and then pound sand and say, forget it. We also have thedumshow.com where you can pick up cool shirts and hats and other cool stuff. Folks, these are nice shirts. They're amazing. People love our stuff. I think we have 175 five-star reviews. That is pretty good for a fairly small site. Go over and take a look. all sorts of stuff. You can use code DUM10, DUM10 to save 10%. Last but not least, you can go to thedumclub.com and join. We have a bunch of special stuff. Just go take a look and see all you get. We have varied prices, which gets you $10 off of our news site. You get no ads. You get access to a monthly meeting with us and the other dummies. You get access to behind the scenes type stuff. And then we've got the bigger packages where you can get a video made by us. You can get an autographed photograph. You get a quarterly box. You get a discount to an American-based Amazon. All really cool stuff. Go take a look, please. Help us out. Leroy, I want to thank you for being here. I always love when you're on. I miss you, man. It's good to have you on when you are.
It's good to see you, man.
You're always so consistent when you are on, Bubba. So thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man. Good night.
Dummies, love you guys. Peace.
Peace in the Middle East.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.